once again, good afternoon and welcome to Crown Field at Andy Kerr Stadium. You're watching today's contest on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Alongside Reed Shepard, I'm Kenny Copps here with you. Thanks for spending part of your Tuesday afternoon here with us for the first of two Patriot League Men's Lacrosse Tournament quarterfinal games. The other quarterfinal, which will start at 7 o'clock tonight, is the 6th seed Navy at the number 3 seed Lehigh. A brief pregame presentation here for Colgate goaltender Brandon Burke. Just a freshman, he's had a heck of a season. Reed ranked 6th nationally in goals against average, and he's being presented with the Patriot League Rookie of the Year award, and well-deserved, I would say.
Heck of a season. Brandon Burke has come in as a freshman, has not blinked an eyelash, has really had a tremendous season in the net for the Raiders, and I've said this before, but Brandon Burke's impact this season extends far beyond stopping balls coming into the net. He's been a staple in the clearing game, breaking the fast break for the Raiders and allowing them to have some offensive scoring opportunities.
He really got out to a hot start back in February, limiting Bryant, a nationally ranked squad, to 4 goals here. Held Vermont to just 3. Twice was named the Patriot League Goalkeeper of the Year throughout the course of the season, and he just really hasn't slowed down from there. Bucknell, on the other hand, also features a goaltender who is twice won Goalkeeper of the Week honors this year, and so it's going to be an interesting matchup to watch in goal to see which one outperforms the other as the course of the game goes on today. Teams lining up in the middle of the field, shaking hands, saying hello, and getting ready to face off for 60 minutes or more.
Saying hello.
Among other things, I'm sure. Alex Keneally, as expected, will take the opening face-off for Colgate. Alex won better than 60% of his face-offs this season. That's the best mark in the Patriot League. He had a good game against Army on Friday night, and the Raiders 8-7 lost in their final regular season contest, and he wins the opening draw here. A good start in the X for the Raiders' top face-off man.
You know, surprised to see Alex Keneally actually ending up with second-team All-Patriot League honors. That's just coming out yesterday. A lot of people expected to see Alex Keneally on the first team, but that award was given to Alex Daly of the Army Black Knights. But Alex will be the first one to tell you he doesn't care about that. He just wants that Patriot League championship ring.
Today, the first step towards that, the semifinals and the championship, will be played on Friday and then Sunday down in Baltimore, as the number 1 team in the country and the conference, the Loyola University of Maryland Greyhounds, will be hosting both the men's and women's semifinals this weekend down in Baltimore. First, offensive possession of the day for Colgate sees Cam Williams in possession here, looking for a shot. Clarkson to the front. Wallace with a shot. That is tipped away by the goalkeeper, Sam Grinberg of Bucknell, and rolls out of play.
Nice scoring chance early there for the Raiders. You see the movement up there from the midfield, allowing Walsh to have not necessarily the entire defense focusing on him when he got the ball, able to get a nice shot off there.
Ryan Walsh accounted for 3 of Colgate's 7 goals on Good Friday against Army, and in so doing, he became just the 8th player in Colgate men's lacrosse program history to score 100 or more in his career. He also has 7 over his last 2 games, heating up at the right time. Brendan McCann had it, tossed it on back to Williams. A little more than 90 seconds gone in the first quarter. Bucknell yet to touch the ball. Clarkson played it across for a shot that sails high out of play. As letting that go was Kevin Adams. Back underway we go with McCann in possession from behind the net. The Raiders keeping it on the outside in the early going. Eric Foote tries to turn on the Jets, but his way to the net was cut off by Zach Hankhouse of Bucknell.
Interesting decision coming out of the gates here by the Bison defense. They've got their number 17 MLL draftee defenseman Jackson Place matched up with Brendan McCann. Normally, you would expect to see that kind of matchup on Ryan Walsh. Interesting to see how that matchup will play out.
Place selected in the 4th round, 25th overall by the Ohio Machine in the 2014 MLL draft. As Bucknell, as we were singing their defenders' praises there, Sam Grinberg made another solid save and led to a successful clear by Bucknell. Now the Bison will go to work on offense here. Interestingly, you look at the stats and the breakdown of when Bucknell has scored its goals this season. A much lower scoring team than last season, but the Bison plus 17 in the first half. So they've gotten off to some good starts this season. There's Ryan Joseph looking to make something happen, but senior captain Jimmy Ryan shutting him down.
Yeah, always important to get off to a good start in lacrosse, but definitely not the end-all, be-all. Lacrosse is a game of momentum, and you're going to have to sustain or be able to withstand those second-half runs if you're going to want to come out on top.
Sean Doyle had a rather ambitious effort from a difficult angle that was fired high and wide. Burke had the top corner covered anyways. Staying here with Bucknell in the person of Ryan Joseph, and 11:45 to play in the opening quarter. Joseph shot one. He was almost parallel with the near post, and he misfired.
Coach Murphy elected to go with number 20 junior Matt Yeager in the starting lineup. Leo Storos has traditionally held that third defense spot most games this season. Matt Yeager, certainly a capable defenseman himself, very, very efficient on-ball defenseman in particular.
A shot from distance from Thomas Flabat sailed up and out of play. Both teams missing a little high in the early going. It could be perhaps a dose of being a little bit too amped up for this game. Then there's a shot down low by Doyle is blocked away by Burke. The rebound is collected by Bobby Lawrence, and he tosses it out of harm's way over to the aforementioned Matt Yeager.
A little bit of trouble there on the pick defense by Parker Weinstock and Matt Yeager. Matt got a little bit picked off by that picker for Bucknell. Brandon Burke able to bail his defense out with a nice save low there.
The first save he's had to make, and he made it look easy. Burke now fires a Hail Mary. Seen all the way and flagged down, nicely done by Kevin Adams. Now it's McCann. They have numbers if they hurry. The shot tips off the stick of Justin Kirchner and rolls out of play. And there's a wasted chance in the early going for Colgate with a 4-on-3 after an excellent, I'd say a better catch than by Adams as opposed to a great pass by Burke. He threw that into some trouble.
Bucknell showing that they're not going to be bashful, coming out immediately in their patented 10-man ride that they have so well executed over the years here in the Patriot League. Going to be interesting to see how Colgate handles that pressure.
Kyle Shanahan with a burst of speed allowed him to race past Chandler Millstone, but he fired a shot low just wide. It hopped up and out of play. David Dixon, now number 41 in orange, is tied up, has the ball chopped free by Lawrence. It hops up into the air, and elevating to grab it is the little guy, Brandon Burke.
Bobby Lawrence making his presence felt early in this game. That's his second ground ball, first cause turnover. Bobby Lawrence, very familiar with number 41, junior David Dixon, has covered him for the past 2 years here during the matchups between these two teams. Bobby does not want his senior season to end, and he's going to show it here. David Dixon's going to have his hands full.
We've played more than 5 minutes here in a scoreless first quarter of this Patriot League Men's Lacrosse Tournament quarterfinal. Colgate looking to beat Bucknell for the second time this season and the 14th time all-time as the Bison own a 21-13 edge in the all-time series, which began back in 1979. Ryan Walsh working with it along the near side as the Raiders settling into their offense. He dealt it back for Williams with a high shot that's off the mark and out of play, backed up by McCann, so it stays down to our right with the Raiders.
Eric Foote drawing the short stick from Bucknell going to look to take advantage of this matchup every single time.
That's Sam McDonough with the short stick, and that pass handcuffed Clarkson, but racing back to collect it is Williams. Back around behind it comes to Walsh with a high toss to the far corner for McCann. 8:55 to go in a scoreless first quarter. Diagonal pass to Walsh, back out in front, and Adams couldn't hang on. The ball harmlessly plopped into the goal crease, and it was easily picked up amidst the chaos by the goalkeeper Grinberg.
Heck of a look there from Matt Clarkson, almost sprung Ryan Walsh for the goal. Oh, turnover here.
Adams lets it go out of play and picks it right back up for a quick Colgate restart, but Bucknell has numbers back. It's about a 3-on-5 right now for the Raiders, so McCann will just hang on and wait for reinforcements off the Raider bench.
Those kinds of turnovers are going to be key to watch, Kenny, in this game. Every single possession is going to count, and when you turn it over on a ride, it's a huge momentum swing for the offense and the defense. From the offense's perspective, they get a whole nother crack with fresh guys out there. Defense, the same guys have to go back out and defend for another who knows how long.
We see third-year head coach Mike Murphy putting a couple of new guys out there off the bench, some fresh legs, like you mentioned. Reed, as Colgate has spent a good portion of the opening 7+ minutes down in their attacking zone. They've gotten some good looks on Grinberg's net, but haven't been able to get one by him. So Coach Murphy trying to change the personnel out there to get that elusive first goal. A double team came to Walsh. He got it away to McCann, had a hard time picking it up, but finally did.
Ryan continuing to draw quick doubles as he's seen all season. Tough for any offensive player to handle that kind of attention from a defense. But Ryan has done an excellent job being able to produce substantially here, 37 points on the season.
Another solid season for Wallace. The double team comes on him. He just dodges past both defenders, dealt it across. Now McCann from a sharp angle whistles wide.
That's one you don't expect to see Brendan McCann miss, right in his sweet spot. Nice play by Ryan Walsh, displaying incredible athleticism to be able to split the seam right between two Bucknell defensemen, cross the entire field to Justin Kirshner. Unable to convert.
An unselfish play from Kirshner to get it to McCann, who was wide open there in the doorstep. That's one probably 9 times out of 10. He at the very least hits the target, but a little too amped up. He had all of it, but missed the Bucknell goal.
That's a case of a respect the one more call, Kenny. You could bet for sure that Brendan was down there saying one more, because he knew he had the better look.
Tyler Rigo has a look, and that is easily tracked and held by Grinberg. That's one that he saw it all the way, and probably not going to get beat when the shot's right at his midsection.
You know, it's a shot you got to take if you're Tyler Rigo. You're open and within 8 yards. He had a decent shot at it. Maybe want to put that one on the ground in the future.
Bucknell completes a successful clear as the clock winds down to the last 6 1/4 of the opening quarter. Still scoreless between 5th-seeded Bucknell and the 4th-seeded Raiders. Really just the second look Bucknell will have had down here in its attacking zone. The first time around, the Bison had several shots, most of which were high and wide, and the last one, which they tried to go down low, was easily stopped by Brandon Burke, so we'll see what they can draw up this time as Ryan Joseph has it now, being marked by Colgate's Jimmy Ryan.
Jim Ryan keeping a close eye on Ryan Joseph there, continuing his role as captain and defensive stalwart for this Raider team, and just willing to help out in any way he can. He's had an absolutely incredible season on defense for the Raiders.
That despite being injured pretty early on in the season as well. Dealt behind the cage, pass out in front of Spinorama, they score! Ryan Joseph with the first goal of the game, and it's a beauty. 1-0 Bucknell with 5:23 remaining in the opening quarter.
Coach Toomey, defensive coordinator for the Colgate Raiders, upset with the defense on that one. Looked like the Raiders had 2 guys sliding to cover up the chance for Bucknell. Ends up with no one to cover the backside. Easy goal for Bucknell. 1-0.
Just the 7th goal of the season for number 7 in orange. Good battle for the ensuing face-off. They're just spinning around right now like a carousel. A 3-a-side scrum. Keneally's down. Keneally gets up, has a beat on it, can't pick it up, now does. Despite some heavy pressure and violent stick swinging by Bucknell's Alex Spring.
You see number 18 there, Derek Catches, the experienced senior long stick midfielder for Colgate, coming in, serving as a backup role, but a huge pest on that wing, able to get his stick in there, create some disruption, allow Alex Keneally to pick up that ground ball.
Mentioned earlier, Keneally best in the conference at winning faceoffs, better than 60%. Also tops in the Patriot League at collecting nearly 6.5 ground balls per game.
And ground balls win games. Any coach will tell you that.
A stutter step and a spin move from Eric Foote. He goes back to his left and tossed it across to Williams.
Nice slide there by number 2, Alex Spring, covering up that offensive chance for Colgate.
Williams gets the wheels turning. Spring coming over to pick him up. So it's handed off to Ryan Walsh, then Williams sets a little bit of a pick for him. Ryan can't take advantage of that, giving him a rough ride the whole way. Now Spring comes over to double him up. Clarkson turning this way and that way and then back this way. Played it over to Eric Foote. Takes a couple of whacks from Spring. McCann trotting out from behind the cage. Dips the shoulder. Sees a couple defenders swarming to him.
Bucknell sending the slide early to both Brendan McCann and Ryan Walsh. Let's see if they can take advantage with their head up and find guys open on the backside.
Some crisp passing, sent it back over to Eric Foote. A lot of possession here for Colgate, but the Bison holding them to the outside. Here's a one-on-one chance for Walsh. The double team comes, played it back across too high and too hot to handle for Cam Williams. Rolling softly towards the end line. It's going to stay in play, allowing Williams to get to it.
And that's the kind of look I'm talking about, Kenny, when the whole defense is focused on Ryan Walsh and sinks down. Those guys up top are going to be open, and that's the kind of play Colgate's going to have to make if they want to get goals in the net.
Another wild pass evades Williams. It trickles back across the midfield stripe there, and Bobby Lawrence will come back and help out, and he gets tripped up.
Sir.
He's just stick chopped at and raked ahead by Spring. Niftily gathered off the turf by Dixon. He looks to scamper past Matt Yeager and does. 2:40 left to play in the opening quarter. The Bison up 1-0, looking to double their early lead.
Thought Bobby might have been tripped there, but it's not my opinion that matters. Nice play by Alex Spring to get the ball from Bobby Lawrence. Anyone will tell you that's no easy task.
And on that possession read, just to go back and break down a little bit, they got away with the first sloppy high pass. The second one, though, ultimately led to a Raiders turnover.
It's early in the game. The offense still finding out where the slides are coming from, how early they're going to come from. Going to take a little bit of time for the Raiders to get comfortable and see exactly how they can exploit this Bucknell defense.
There's an errant pass and a six-player scrum ensues. The ball goes out of play. Possession to the Raiders. That was just a miscommunication there, it looked like, between Joseph and Sean Doyle. Doyle didn't expect the pass, and it was thrown right behind him. And I beg your pardon, possession stayed here with Bucknell. I thought the officials were pointing Colgate's way. I was mistaken. Thomas Flabot gets around Ryan. Shot one short side, directed away from the cage by Burke, and the rebound picked up by Yeager.
Nice to see Burke in the zone early, coming up with two big stops for the Raiders. That's a good sign if you're a Colgate Raider fan.
And a real good save there as Burke almost appeared to be surprised when the shot came to his short side, but he reacted in time to keep it out.
Brandon Burke comes from a long lineage of goalies in his family. His oldest brother, Jordan Burke, an All-American and professional lacrosse player, played at Brown, now the Boston Cannons, and then another older brother, Stephen Burke, has spent some time at Hopkins. So Brendan certainly knows the finer points of playing goalie.
It certainly runs in the family, you could say. Ryan Walsh just being swarmed by Bison. Gets away from two. Played it over to Rigo, who returns it back to Walsh. 45 remaining in the opening quarter. Walsh behind the cage to an open McCann. Here's Rigo.
Nice slide and recovery there by Bucknell. Colgate's moving the ball, still unable to find an opening.
To the front, they score! Oh, McCann faked the pass, threw it to Adams on the doorstep, and he couldn't help but slam it home. Adams ties the score with 30.5 seconds left in the opening quarter.
Nice patience there by number 27, Brendan McCann, to hold the ball, wait for the opportunity to present itself, and then find Kevin Adams on the crease who's able to finish. And those are the kind of opportunities, again, that Colgate is going to get when the Bucknell Bison are going to pressure Ryan Walsh outside the restraining box. Hard to make that kind of recovery if you're a Bucknell defenseman.
19th goal of the season for Kevin Adams. It ties the score at 1. Keneally just nearly picked that face up out of the air, but could not, and so it goes the Bison's way. It's their first one face-off of the game, and they have time to get off a shot here if they hurry in the last 13 seconds of the opening quarter.
Long stick midi, number 2, Alex Spring for Bucknell, having a heck of a start here already with 2 or 3 ground balls.
There's an unforced error, but with just 3.6 ticks remaining, it's not going to harm the Bucknell Bison. As Burke will just throw it as far as he can. And the horn sounds, and, well, he had the distance, but directionally it was challenged. Joseph gave the Bison the lead with 5:23 remaining. It lasted nearly 5 minutes before Kevin Adams tied it up with 30 seconds remaining. That's where we stand. as Keneally wins it easily. Sorry there, Reed, to start the second quarter.
I was just going to say, nice face-off by Alex Keneally, but you saw number 31, Kevin Boyle, and number 2, Alex Spring, engaging in a little bit of gamesmanship there on the wing. Kevin trying to get the upper hand, moving farther towards the Bucknell offensive zone. Going to be an interesting matchup to watch. Two very talented long stick middies.
Spring, who wears number 2 in orange, like you said, Reed, is we called his name numerous times there in that first quarter. He's played a very, very strong game thus far for the Bison. Might not show up in the score sheet, but certainly he's been noticeable from up here. Foot nearly stepped into a shot from about 12 yards out, then thought better of it. He'll get it back here from Williams. Wallace tried to cut into the middle and get by some of the Bucknell defenders, could not. McCann's open, so Foot sends it to him. Opening stages of the second quarter, Clarkson got it to Foot. A left-handed shot is grabbed by Grinberg. It was going to the top right corner. Good save by the junior goalkeeper for the Bison.
Looked like Bucknell made a little bit of a tactical switch there, switching to more of a zone defense, trying to keep this Colgate Raider offense off balance.
And after completing the clear, Bucknell looks to go to work on its first offensive look of the second quarter, which is now a little more than 90 seconds old. Both teams making personnel changes on the fly. And one of the new entries for the Bison, Thomas Flabat, number 26, off the bench, has it back behind the cage for Dixon. A lot of bodies back there for both teams, so Dixon lets the traffic clear before going to work on John Baker. Oh, and Baker just plowed over one of the Bison. That was Peter Burke who set the pick, and he got bulldozed over there. No harm, no foul.
Always the danger of setting a pick. Hopefully, as a picker, you don't want that guy running full speed right at you. You hope he tries to maneuver around you a little more efficiently than that.
There's a shot off looked like the ribs of Burke. He made a good save there on Thomas Flabat, the sophomore from Massachusetts, and Colgate's on the break back the other way.
Nice save by Burke, and Kevin always wanting to press the issue, quick to pick up the ball and push the offensive transition. Sees that there's no opportunity, dumps it off to his trusted attackman, Ryan Walsh.
The Raiders looking for their first lead of the game. Content to just play catch right now, nowhere near the Bucknell goal. That's Peter Donato. He's got some room. Fires a pass over for McCann.
Ryan Walsh has got a short stick. Let's see if the Raiders can get him the ball before a switch back. And they do.
It's a good read there by Donato to see the matchup, and Walsh takes advantage as he shoots and scores. It's 2-1 Raiders early in the second quarter.
And if you're a short stick, that's just not fair. Ryan Walsh able to body up his defenseman on that play, turned back, and before the goalie even knew what hit him, boom, back in the net. Nice play by Ryan Walsh, and Bucknell going to try and not switch picks anymore when Ryan Walsh is the picker. You know, if you get a short stick on Ryan Walsh, he's going to look to take advantage of that matchup every single time, and he did so there.
You could say that's probably one of the first real defensive lapses Bucknell has had, and Colgate took advantage of it right away. And there's another relatively easy face-off win for Keneally, who unofficially by our count has won 4 of 5 thus far. Clarkson looked for something quickly. It wasn't there, so he'll pull it back out.
Nice play there by Bobby Lawrence and Kevin Boyle, two long sticks in the offensive zone, making the Bucknell defense sweat a little bit on that play. Unable to get an offensive opportunity, but still, nice effort there. And as you were saying, Kenny, about the defensive laps, yeah, you know, as a defensive person, you've always got to be mindful of who is dodging. Sometimes teams have rules. You know, we switch picks, we don't switch picks regardless, or depending on a certain area. But when it's Ryan Walsh, you never switch that pick.
As meanwhile, Colgate had committed a turnover as a pass intended for Adams in front from Foot didn't work out. Bucknell has brought it back the other way as the rain begins to fall again here on Crown Field at Andy Kerr Stadium. The sun actually briefly poked its head out there for a couple minutes in the first quarter, but it has since gotten very dark.
We're more comfortable in the gray anyway, Kenny.
Hey, it's what we're used to up here. Approaching 5 minutes of elapsed time in the second quarter. Brock Gelfie carries it on in and shot one wildly that's going to bounce out of play, and it's going to stay here with Bucknell as Lawrence was locked up there with David Dixon hustling towards the far sideline.
Not sure
and
I
it was
agree
ruled
with that call. Looked like Bobby Lawrence outraced his man to the goal there, David Dixon, but once again, my opinion doesn't matter up here.
One of those 50-50 calls, and it went the Bison's way that time. Gelfie handed it behind. Doyle with it there. Moves it over for Dixon.
Chandler Millstone, number 44 in white for the Raiders, getting his first look on defense here.
He's looking right at Peter Burke, senior attacker. The ball sprung free momentarily, gathered back in by Tom Black. Oh, how did Lawrence miss that one? A spin move from Dixon goes nowhere. Pass to the front, they score, and Bucknell has tied it back up quickly as Todd Heritage slams in that pass from close range. 2-all with 9:20 to play before halftime.
Nice play by the Bucknell offense there. Colgate defense trying to figure out exactly what happened. Todd Heritage is a dangerous attackman on the crease. Didn't look like there was a slide, but even so, always got to have your stick on your man's gloves, particularly when he's such as good a crease threat as Todd Heritage is.
Heritage, the second leading goal scorer for Bucknell, just notched his 21st of the year.
Bucknell looking for answers at the faceoff X. They throw Alex Spring out there. Alex Keneally still able to get the faceoff away cleanly.
And then Keneally, feeling he could do no wrong, just threw a rainmaker back to Matt Yeager that was nearly picked off. And with Burke out of the cage, it could have been an easy Bucknell goal, but it was not. Clarkson dropped the pass, got it back. He comes speeding on in. But once more, Bucknell not letting the Raiders get something going in transition there.
Nice play by Bobby Lawrence and Matt Clarkson there. Bobby trusting Matt that he would be able to run over the midfield and grab that ball despite having pressure on him. Matt Clarkson showing an impressive display of composure there.
And after tossing it back and forth with Foot a couple of times, Clarkson decides to move forward before dropping it on back for Williams. 8.5 to play before the intermission. Each team scored once in the first. So far, each team has scored once in the second. Walsh has the Raiders' goal this quarter. Gave it over for McCann. Back out up top it came for Eric Foot. Walsh made a move. Wanted to get it in front to Adams. Could not.
Step two again.
Clarkson. Whacked at the whole way by Mike Andrusik. Foot makes a move. Shot one there off the body of Grinberg. He traps the rebound after he couldn't find it at first, with Ryan Walsh waiting right there outside the crease.
Nice quick move there by Eric Foot. He's probably unhappy with himself. Would have liked a better shot. Maybe move Grinberg a little more in the cage. Grinberg standing tall. Nice save.
Not easy for a 5'7" man to stand tall, but Grinberg has so far today.
You could say the same thing about Brandon Burke.
Yeah, the less diminutive of the two at 5'8". There's a shot. Oh, they score! Ryan Joseph rips one up top and tickles the twine to make it 3-2 in favor of the Bison.
Number 11, Eric Foot, caught back there on defense for Colgate. Not his area of expertise. Nice move there by the Bucknell offensive player, beating Brandon Burke to the top of the post. 3-2.
Second lead of the contest for the Bison. And Ryan Joseph, a man who had scored just 6 goals in 14 regular season games, has put in 2 of Bucknell's 3 in the opening quarter and a half.
Smart play by Joseph there to get to the middle of the field, give himself the entire goal to shoot at.
This ball booted towards the sideline by Keneally, and out of play it goes. And so possession will go to the Bison on a bad break there for the Raiders, as Keneally appeared to have his opponent there in the Alex Spring beaten, but the ball just took a bad little kick off a shoe and rolled right into the Raiders bench.
Looks like Bucknell's going to stick with Alex Spring there. Think it's better for them to just try and muck up the face-off and make it a scrum rather than try and compete with Alex on the clamp.
And you look at the stats for Bucknell on the season. They've had several players take a decent number of draws and without a good amount of success for any one of them. So not a bad strategy to employ with Spring there if it works. He's had a great game everywhere else so far for the Bison.
Having multiple face-off guys, there are exceptions, but having multiple face-off guys is generally like having multiple quarterbacks. You'd rather just have one.
Joseph with the hot hand. They'll rip it wide and out of play. The clock frozen at 6:31. David Dixon has it as the action resumes, with Bucknell in possession with the lead, looking to add to it here. Joseph working on Jimmy Ryan. Joseph barging out in front, couldn't get the shot off. So he flipped it over to Dixon. Lawrence picks him up. Lawrence all over Dixon. Dixon played it to the front of the cage. A good defensive play made there. But Joseph got it back. The ball hops up out of his stick. He gets it back. Lawrence ties him up. They battle for it. A third man comes. A fourth man comes. And a loose ball push has been called. Possession to the Raiders.
Joseph has scored 2 goals already. That commands the attention of Bobby Lawrence, who throws a nice over-the-head check there, able to put the ball on the ground. Nice play on defense for the Raiders. Jim, nice move there. And he's going to have the clear for the Raiders.
He just maneuvered past David Dixon as if he was standing still.
Jim is an offensive innie, all the way in high school and a couple years here at Colgate. So he has shown has the capability to juke a defenseman every now and then.
A real good two-way player for the Raiders when need be. So we start to wind down now towards the latter stages of this opening half. Real good game so far and a fast-moving contest. Ryan Walsh nearly lost that pass, but he gathered it in time. Rigo looks for room to shoot, finds one. He got hammered down, and we're going to get our first penalty call of the game as Rigo is slow to get up, appeared to take a cross-check right to the face. And that's going to be the call.
Coach Federica upset with that call. Not sure I blame him. Looked like Tyler was slipping into that hit, but you know what? I don't care. Raiders go man up. And the Raiders 0 for 6 on the man up against Army on Saturday night. Let's hope that they can improve on that performance here.
You could certainly say that they're due against a team in Bucknell that has struggled in its man-up defense on the season. They've been great with the man advantage, but killing off less than 70% of their opponents' man-up opportunities. The Raiders, though, scored on 12 of just 50 man-up chances this season. Pass to the front, and that shot wouldn't go for Adams. The rebound collared off a bounce by Ryan Walsh. Eric Foote draws 2 of the 5 Bucknell defenders out there, so someone's got to be open. He gets it to Williams, and now Walsh, and now Williams. Foote again. Clarkson steps into this one and whistled maybe a foot wide to the far side. .25 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bucknell's Flabat. Colgate looking to equalize. There's a look, and McCann just hit a home run.
Brendan, once again, right in his sweet spot. He really likes shooting from that area despite being such a low angle, unable to get one there.
The ball actually hopped all the way across College Street outside the stadium. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's Clarkson. And now Walsh. 5 seconds remaining in the Raiders' man-up chance. Dipping the shoulder is McCann. Comes out in front, fires, and didn't get much on it, so it was easily stopped by Grinberg.
McCann has had success with that move a few times, jabbing like he's going outside, coming back inside to the teeth of the defense and firing it near side past the goalie. Didn't have as much luck there.
It looked like he stumbled a bit there as he was coming right out in front and maybe didn't have as firm a handle on the ball as he wanted to either. But still another solid stop by the junior netminder for the Bison as Bucknell has returned to full and even strength.
And the drought continues for Colgate's man up. Coach Abbott will be the first one to tell you that he is not going to be happy with this kind of production. Hopefully the Raiders can pick it up.
There's a look, they score! Brock Gelfie picks the top right corner, and the Bison have gone up top with their last 2 goals to beat Brandon Burke.
That's just a great shot there by number 5, Brock Gelfie. Brandon Burke upset with himself.
3 unanswered goals for the Bison. And their lead at 4-2 is the first multiple goal lead of the game for either team. Comes with 3:23 to play in the opening half. Keneally wins this draw. Or I thought he had it. I guess he didn't. I think he thought he had it too, but never found the handle. It eventually goes the Raiders' way as Ryan Walsh grabs control of it.
Kevin Boyle with an earth-shattering check there. Heard that one all the way up here in the booth. Nice play by Kevin to keep possession for the Raiders. And another senior captain who does not want to see this season slip away here at Crown Field on Andy Kerr Stadium. Giving it 110% effort.
Ryan Walsh way out up here. He wants the ball and gets it. Twists away from one. Stumbles as the second defender comes. Ben Keller, number 22 in orange, holding his own against number 43 in white and maroon. A quick double team again.
Ryan continuing to draw a quick 2. You're going to have someone with a chance to dodge on the backside, but Bucknell so far has been up to the task of recovering.
Williams receiving this pass from Clarkson. He looks to his right. There's Foote, who takes a quick little swing of the stick from Keller. 2 minutes left until we hear the halftime horn. Clarkson dips past one, saw 3 defenders charging at him, so quickly fired a pass away to a wide open Williams. But the Raiders just can't get inside on this possession. Wallace tried to force his way in, shot one that actually was grabbed by McCann. Out in front, a beauty of a goal by Brendan McCann, and the Raiders are back within 1.
Brendan says not so fast, as it looked like Colgate was sort of struggling for some momentum on offense, hadn't scored in a little over a quarter, and Brendan comes in there and puts that one in the net. Nice play there. You saw...
And you could say, looking back on that play, as Keneally wins yet another faceoff for Colgate, it appeared Walsh tried to force that shot, maybe a bit out of frustration. And McCann, stationed in the right place at the right time, caught that laser beam out of midair, and then he had all day to fake Grinberg out of his shoes and probably out of his pants as well.
And any star player is going to be frustrated when they can't seem to get themselves going because of so much constant attention. But Ryan, has done a good job all year, and certainly he's going to find his chances in this game.
Williams shot out of a cannon, but the play's going to be blown dead as Colgate takes a timeout. It's first of the half with 1:10 left before halftime. And so the ebb and flow of this game, well, Bucknell had that 3-goal run read. They were looking good, maybe going into the halftime or into the locker room up 4-2, but Colgate gets that goal by McCann. They win the face-off, and now it's the Raiders who have momentum on their side, looking to tie this game up in the last minute of the half. Who has it and awaits the official's whistle.
Looks like Coach Abbott and Coach Murphy drew up something for Eric Foote here. He's going to get a chance to dodge.
Clarkson feeds the ball Foote's way as the clock is ticked down below 1 minute to go before halftime.
Oh, nope. Cam Williams gets to initiate the offense here. Drawing another quick slide from the Bucknell defenseman.
The Raiders very spread out on this possession, and, well, we'll never know what that play would have been because Mike Murphy didn't like what he saw after about 26 seconds of it, so we'll take his second and final timeout of the first half with 44.2 seconds remaining. The ball down in the left corner, near side. Williams will have it to get the action back underway. Williams dropping it off for Clarkson.
Smart play there to free up Matt Clarkson with the short stick matchup.
He drew 2 defenders. Now it's McCann. Trying to tie him up was Jackson Place. Down to that 20-second mark now with Walsh.
Here comes the double.
He got away from that. Sent it back over to Clarkson. 12 seconds to go. Clarkson, a good 20 yards away from the goal. Good defense played on him by Spring. Clarkson, now down to 5 seconds. Adams leaps and shoots and scores! Kevin Adams beats the buzzer. He ties the score at 4 with less than 4 seconds remaining.
And that's an incredible play by Matt Clarkson and Kevin Adams. Matt with the patience to be able to continue to roll back and forth, wait for his opportunity, and Kevin Adams to handle that ball on the crease and finish that one for the Raiders. Nice play there.
Second of the game for Adams. That's his 20th of the season. One of, I believe, 3 Raiders to reach the 20-goal plateau. Keneally will win the face-off, and time expires to end the first half. And after 30 minutes, we've resolved nothing. Well, their score at the half, Bucknell 4, Colgate 4. You're watching today's contest on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders.
Colgate defense making a tactical adjustment as well, coming out with Bobby Lawrence on number 3 for Bucknell, Sean Doyle, and Baker taking Bobby's man, David Dixon, instead.
And then Kevin Boyle got his hand in the action, swatted a pass away in the defensive zone, picked up the loose change, and carried it ahead himself to complete the clear. And so that silly, unforced turnover in the opening seconds does not hurt the Raiders, as they look to go to work on offense for the first time in the second half, and they seek their first lead of this half. The Raiders led once in the second quarter. We were tied 3 times, and the lead changed hands twice. That's McCann dipping in and then back outside. Now Williams wants to step into a shot, working to his right. Sharp angled try, just missed the far post by a couple inches and takes a couple rather large hops out of play.
Cam has had those kinds of opportunities down that right-hand alley all year. Very strong, very fast offensive midfielder for Colgate. Just hasn't quite been able to get a shot on cage as often as he would have liked.
Eric Foote picked up by Mike Andrusik. Big defender there for the Bison. Wears number 14 for the orange-clad Bison. Oh. Walsh with a laser beam that was off the mark.
I really don't know how you play goalie in this sport, Kenny. Be expected to stand in there and not duck out of the way of that rubber lacrosse ball moving about 100 miles per hour.
Well, I tell you, all 5'7" of Sam Grinberg's held his own in this game. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to do it. I'm much more comfortable up here. In any case, Ryan Walsh has the stick chopped out of his hand. And a procedure call against the Raiders means it's going back to the Bison.
And another tactical adjustment here coming out. Number 17, Jackson Place, covering Ryan Walsh instead of Brendan McCann as he was marking in the first half. Amazing that these teams, so familiar with each other, but still making so many second half adjustments to try and get the upper hand.
And both the teams fighting for their postseason lives, knowing that winning this tournament is the only way for them to make it into the NCAA tournament. So you can expect both teams to throw the kitchen sink and various other kitchen appliances as well. As a flag is down against the Raiders, it was very late in coming, as one of the Bison, I didn't see who it was kind of decked away from the play. And then you could hear the roar come up from the Bison bench, and then the flag came out.
It's number 14, Mike Undersek. It looked like Kevin Boyle just put his hands on him there. I think Mike Undersek might deserve an Oscar for that acting job. He looked like he really went down hard and not from so much force from Kevin Boyle. But either way, Bucknell gets the man-up opportunity.
Shanahan's try rang off the pipe, hopped up high into the air. Doyle's there with it again. The Raiders not out of the woods yet. Brock Gelfie, he scored in the first half for the Bison.
This is one of those free possessions for the Bison, with the flag down. They know they're getting the ball back. Going to play a little looser here and look maybe throw passes that they might not in another situation.
Dixon all tied up. The shot, the ball came free, and the shot was directed away and out of play by Burke. An excellent stop, dropping to his knees to deny Kyle Shanahan. Will get the enforcement of the penalty now. It's 30 seconds for interference on the Raiders' Kevin Boyle. And the first man-up chance of the game for the Bucknell Bison. And they've converted nearly 42% of these chances during the season. Tom Black swings it near side over to Peter Burke.
Uh-oh.
Some sharp, crisp ball movement. A shot from distance is knocked down by Burke and is gathered in by John Baker. Running towards the sideline, he is bumped into there, stayed in play. Jimmy Ryan felt the pressure coming from behind. Penalty time is now up, so the Raiders return to full strength. The pass from Burke was swatted down. Ryan can't find the handle. He's double-teamed, spins away from the pressure. It was batted along the ground by Yeager, and finally coming over to pick it up is Eric Foote.
Colgate's going to have to go. Nope, not in time. Nice ride there by Bucknell. The 10-man ride, particularly in half of that situation, was man up. Going to be tough to clear against this staunch Bucknell ride. Oh.
There's a chance in front. Spring stop point blank by Burke. A man in the crease for Bucknell, but since the Raiders found possession, they'll keep play fluid and going. Kevin Boyle off to the races. Fresh out of the sin bin is he. He drops it off to Ryan Walsh, and then Boyle mixes it up a little bit with Thomas Flabat in front of the Bucknell cage.
Burke sort of standing on his head, so to speak, right there. Knocks that one away with his right thigh. Alex Spring was wide open on the crease. Defensive miscommunication for the Raiders.
Colgate's had some nervy moments defensively this side of halftime, but still no changes to the halftime scoreline of 4-4. The start of this third quarter, eerily similar to the start of the first quarter, when it took the teams more than 9.5 minutes to find the game's first goal.
When you talk about saves, not every save is the same. You know, there are a lot of saves that a goalie is supposed to make, and right there, Burke just took one off the board, and that's a huge momentum shifter for this Colgate defense. Hopefully they could take that momentum and carry it on to this offensive possession.
If you're going to win and go on a run in the postseason, you need a good goaltender like Burke to make all the saves that he's expected to make and then make a few of the ones that he's not expected to make, and that's how you win games like this. Wide open is Kirchner. The shot is flagged down by Grinberg.
Justin definitely equipped with an explosive offensive shot, usually very accurate from there. Would have liked to have seen him come overhand and maybe put that away from Grinberg's stick side high.
He appeared to shoot it right at him there in the midsection. But nonetheless, another solid stop, one that, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, you would expect him to make, and he did. And now it's Bucknell's turn to look for a go-ahead goal as we approach the midway point of this third quarter. This one's shaping up to be another one-goal game like the one in, back here in Hamilton on March the 1st was, a 9-8 win for the Raiders on that occasion.
I don't know if I could take another one of those, Kenny.
They never check with us, do they? Ryan Joseph, who has 2 of the Bison's 4. Getting a pick out at the 40-yard line of the football numbers there from Thomas Flabat. Joseph still with it. Twisted away from...
You see the Colgate defense extending out to that 40-yard line, keeping those Bucknell Bison in check, getting out on their hands. So that's a staple of a Coach Murphy defense. He's going to want to dictate out there.
Joseph has the hat trick after an excellent feed from David Dixon, and he banked that one way up high, just underneath the crossbar. And there's our first goal of the second half, and the Bison have reclaimed the lead with 7:23 remaining in the third. Dixon very good at handing out assists, and he certainly showed it there.
I think that's the second time number 23 Baker has been fooled on that move. Oh,
they followed up with a face-off win, but the Raiders get it right back, and it's shoveled on back to Brandon Burke.
Come on, Bob.
Carried on ahead by Bobby Lawrence. Pressure coming from behind, but a good screen there by Lawrence to give Clarkson some time and space to finish off that Colgate clear.
And this strategy by Bucknell to put Jackson Place up there at the faceoff X is proving effective. Alex Keneally has got his hands full with Jackson all over his arms and hands. But you got to wonder, is that going to take a toll later in the fourth quarter? Jackson is going to need all his energy to hold this Raider offense off the board. Interesting thing to keep an eye on there.
Especially if, as we expect, this game comes right down to the wire. Matt Clarkson had some room. Indecisive at first. Got it over to Williams. He's being hacked at all the way. Now it's McCann. He's got foot wide open. Finds him.
Great time for
past one. Hands it off to Clarkson. The shot from way outside is stopped by Grinberg, and a quick outlet pass. Springs Alex Spring, what could be a quick 4-on-3. Doyle to the front of the net, and a shot. They score! Beautiful counter attack, and the Bison lead by 2, 6-4. Todd Heritage with the goal.
And in youth lacrosse, that 4-on-3 fast break drill might be one of the first drills you execute as a youth lacrosse player, and Bucknell did it to a T there.
Springs played a great complete game all around. Now he gets his name in the box score with an assist under his name. Second of the game and 22nd of the season for Heritage. For the Bison, that's 2 goals in a minute 28 to turn a 4-4 score into a 6-4 lead for the visitors. Their 2-goal advantage matching their largest of the game. A massive scrum for the faceoff goes the Raiders' way as Derek Catches got to the ground ball. They had Ryan Walsh open, and I mean wide open, couldn't find him. He was camped out right by the near post. Could have had an easy tap in had they gotten it to him. In any case, Kirchner off the bench with it here for the Raiders, who look for their first goal of the second half.
Derek Catch is always very sure-handed off the ground, and with coming up big there with a nice ground ball. Hopefully this Raiders offense can take advantage.
Tyler Rigo showing off some of his foot speed. Handed it away from a couple defenders. Spinorama from Donato. The pass down low. McCann couldn't haul it in, and it harmlessly rolls out of play. Back to the Bison off the Raiders' turnover.
I don't think Brendan was expecting that pass. Donato with a nice spin move. Looked like he had a chance for a shot. Elects to pass that ball off to Brendan. Turnover.
I think everyone here at Crown Field expected a shot. There's a shot and a critical save made by Brandon Burke. It wasn't his toughest stop today, but a good shot from Thomas Flabat up high, and Burke did well to keep his Colgate Raiders within 2. And then that pass just tips out of the stick of the Raiders' Kevin Boyle, and it's right back with the Bison. And that's a mistake you never see Kevin Boyle make. That's just an uncharacteristic play for him.
That pass a little low and behind Kevin Boyle, but nevertheless, you expect him to come up with that ball. Costly turnover in the middle of the field there for the Raiders, and that's just the type of turnover that as a coach that you hate to see when you've got the ball on the ground, you've done the work, and you're about to have the ball back to your offense, coming right back playing defense again.
And that's 3 or 4 real uncharacteristic, unforced turnovers Colgate has committed this quarter alone after giving the ball away a grand total of just 4 times in the opening 30 minutes. Joseph has 3 goals today. Matt wide open in front, and they score. It's Todd Heritage with his 3rd of the game. The lead is now 3.
Todd Heritage making a living today on that crease. Bobby Lawrence comes across with the slide, no 2 to back him up, and that's just too easy there for the Bucknell Bison offense.
So it goes in the books as Heritage from Joseph. They've accounted for 6 of the Bison's 7 goals. Keneally boxes out his man and then picks up the ground ball and shoots it back to Bobby Lawrence, who will scamper ahead with it for the Raiders. That goal made possible after the Kevin Boyle turnover at midfield.
Nice self-adjustment by Bobby Lawrence there. He's tired of seeing his face-off guy, Alex Keneally, take a beating face-off after face-off against Jackson Place. Realizes that he's going to come out with the quick face-off win and flies out of the restraining box, calling for the ball.
You get a sense now, Reed, this is a really critical portion of the game for the Raiders. Similar to the end of the second quarter when the momentum was on the Bison's side. They'd rattled off 3 in a row, had a 2-goal lead, and the Raiders struck twice in the last minute 43 to even the score going into halftime. Here's Cam Williams.
This game definitely teetering right on the edge. Bucknell's come out with a vengeance here in this third quarter. Colgate has got to show that they can withstand this Bucknell punch and be able to continue to chip away on offense.
Eric Foote was tied up very well by Chiappa, about 7-8 yards out just outside the goal. Would have had a great look at a shot, but he couldn't pull the trigger. Chiappa had him all tied up in knots. Williams with a try. That's knocked away. The rebound, it goes in! Kevin Adams might get credit for that one, as it appeared that the ball landed in Grinberg's goal cross, and Adams hit that, jostled the ball free and into the netting. Third of the game for Adams, trims the deficit back down to 2. Officials timeout here. I think that Colgate's Boyle and Bucknell's Montfort had a bit of a false start there, so they are repositioned. The whistle blows, and Keneally wins this one clean. And a chance for Colgate to go right back on the attack after that gift of a goal. Could be a turning point in this game. We shall see.
And certainly, unlucky bounces happen in the game of lacrosse. It's going to be interesting to see if Bucknell can maintain their composure and keep a strong mindset going into this fourth quarter.
I mean, if you're Colgate, you think you want to shoot right away here on Grinberg, see where his head's at after allowing that wacky goal. He's probably still upset about that one. Inside 2 minutes to play in this third quarter. The deficit for the Raiders is 2. Clarkson thought about it. Instead, it comes around the outside to Eric Foote. It's the sun shining here again in Hamilton. Adams swings it back over to Foote.
Brendan's got the short stick trying to get him the ball, but number 14 there for Bucknell, Mike Undersick, doing a good job there shutting him off. Brendan not to be denied, though.
Yeah, Foote kind of forced that pass, but it worked out. Williams couldn't handle that one. That ball's got a lot on it. Will it stay in play? Yes. Loose for the taking. The Bison have a big check coming from Ryan Walsh, but dodging the worst of it was Ben Collar. The ball is just rolling around there at the 30-yard line. A Raider was tripped up, but he got it ahead. Helter-skelter here at Crown Field. Across it comes for Adams. In transition, fakes past Spring, and now he'll settle things down in the last 4 seconds of this third quarter.
And you don't often get to see scrums like that in the game of lacrosse nowadays, with guys having such polished stick skills. The ball rarely on the ground, but that's the kind of lacrosse people love to see, and Colgate able to come up with that 50-50 ground ball opportunity.
The Raiders looking for a last-minute goal to get back within one. The shot, it's in, they score! Whew. Off the side of Grinberg and in. It's Adams again, his 4th of the game. Colgate has trimmed the deficit to 1.
Brendan, for the 3rd time there, in his sweet spot with time and room, able to get it by Grinberg there. And I think, Kenny, you're absolutely right. Grinberg has got to be feeling a little bit shaky after these last 2 that have snuck right by him, and he's had a piece of each one. Colgate should look to test him here.
Clarkson picks up an assist on Adams' 4th goal of the game.
That was for Brendan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon there. But a face-off violation gives possession to the Bison, and so they can get the last look of this third quarter. With 7 seconds remaining, Peter Burke played it behind the cage. 3 seconds, and now to Dixon out in front, and that one behind the head effort is well off the mark. And the Raiders survive the last Bucknell possession there. They get a couple of fluky goals late and turn a 3-goal deficit into a 1-goal game, and it's anybody's game now, Reed, going into the 4th. Each team has both of its second half timeouts remaining. Bucknell outshot Colgate 9-7 in the third quarter. The shots are 23 each for the game. The Raiders have won 13 of the game's 16 draws, including 5 of 6 in the third quarter, and Colgate's ground ball advantage now sits at 29, make it 30-10, as Keneally wins another one, harassed all the way. But he finally got the handle on it. It's cycled on back to Burke and up ahead now for Kevin Boyle. Boyle, shot out of a cannon, harassed by Spring. Backhand, no-look flip back to Clarkson. And Colgate will now set up its offense half a minute into the fourth quarter.
That's another example of a nice find there by Brandon Burke, seeing Kevin Boyle open in the middle of the field, springing that offensive opportunity. Alex Keneally having himself a tough time down there dealing with Bucknell's best defenseman, but he's done a pretty good job thus far.
Loose ball push on Bucknell here, and it's one I don't think they had to make. As Clarkson dropped the pass, didn't know it, and Bucknell had two men there as opposed to the one Clarkson for the Raiders.
We'll take that one though, Kenny.
Crazy if they didn't. Is Walsh turning from behind the Bucknell net, swerving this way net. McCann is open, looking and shooting. It's knocked away by Grinberg. And rebound try also stopped. The Raiders grab the rebound again with Adams. Now back out up top. Clarkson fires, scores!
Wow.
If at first you don't succeed, try again and then try a third time and tie the game at 7.
Colgate just knocking on the door repeatedly. They're unable to barge into it with the first two opportunities, but Matt Clarkson with a heck of a shot out there, uncontested from maybe 12 yards out, able to put that one by Grinberg. And we've got a tie ball game here, 14 minutes left to play.
Again. Grinberg now up to 11 saves on the game. He had a couple beauties there in that possession, but when you keep getting quality looks like that, you can't expect him to stop them all, and he didn't. And who wants this face-off? Colgate does. Oh, and then getting freight trained on the play. And another hit, and now a flag is down.
For what?
McCann, I believe, is the one who's going to get that penalty.
I disagree. I thought Brendan had a clean look there. That just looked like good physical lacrosse.
It's a tough call to make, especially when only 2 flags were thrown in the opening 3 quarters of the contest.
Unfortunate as well, John Baker made a heck of a play to come up with that ground ball. Got a little unlucky running into a Bucknell defensive player.
Yeah, Andrusik was the one who got plastered there at midfield, and now with that shot going up and out of play taken by Flabots, we'll get the penalty enforcement with 13:05 remaining in allotted time.
Brendan shaking his head in frustration.
Ryan Walsh coming over and pleading his case. McCann gets a minute for cross-checking. And so Bucknell, which squandered a 30-second man-up chance in the previous quarter, it's a full minute look here, the chance to go right back on top in this game. Pass right out in front, and it's easily stolen by Brandon Burke. He had a man interfering with him. Turned right back over, though, and the shot missed!
Jesus Christ.
And a possession to Colgate here.
Looked like Brandon Burke was trying to draw the interference call, and I think that is going to be the case here. But he almost gave me a heart attack with that bounce pass back into the middle of the field, right to the Bucknell team.
Yeah, a weird sequence there. I think you're right there, Reed. I'm pretty sure that was the call, but I guess my main question would be, why did it take him about 10 seconds to get that call in? Delayed reaction, but it goes the Raiders' way. Clarkson speeding ahead. Remember, the Colgate Raiders still a man down for another 21 seconds. McCann serving his minute cross-checking penalty.
Matt Clarkson, a jack of all trades for this Colgate Raider team, made a nice play there to speed by Jackson Place, and that's going to go a long way towards killing this penalty for the Colgate Raiders. Matt Clarkson, fresh off being awarded his first ever first-team All-Patriot League, and showing why on that kind of play.
Penalty time to McCann is up. The Raiders have killed it off. Bucknell 0-for-2 on its extra man opportunities today. Inside a dozen minutes remaining in regulation time. The score, Bucknell 7, Colgate 7. It was 4-all at the half. Bucknell scored the first 3 of the second half. The Raiders have gotten the last 3. 2 in the third and 1 here this quarter. As Clarkson tied it up about 2.25 minutes ago. It's Clarkson getting it here from Williams. Working to his right. Sees a couple defenders come to him. Williams, no room to operate. Pass one that nearly went in. It was blocked away by an unsuspecting Grinberg, and the ball rolled out of play. Backed up there by Eric Foote. Well, he'll get credit for a shot, and Grinberg credit for a save on what was just an awkward-looking play there, and it was another fortuitous goal for the Raiders.
If that one would have gone in, I would have declared the floodgates officially open. That would have been 4 straight goals for the Raiders and 3 on questionable merit.
They say games aren't won on merit, goals aren't scored based on merit either, but you certainly would have had a point there, Reed. Now it's McCann elevating to haul in that pass and returning to the sender, Matt Clarkson. Clarkson dodges away from a check, sees a double team come to him, lobbed it away to McCann. Williams will return it back to McCann as we approach 10.5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter of a tie game. Ryan Walsh spins away, a triple team came to him. Couldn't take advantage of it though. McCann trying to get open at front. Look at Ryan Walsh wide open across the field, but Williams didn't want to try the skip pass to him. A stalling warning has been issued to Colgate. Walsh shoots, the save has made the rebound, hopped over the crossbar and landed on the backside of the net.
Nice save there by Grinberg. This Colgate offense doing a much better job than they were in the first half of moving the ball immediately after the slide is drawn, putting a lot more pressure on this Bucknell defense. Hopefully they can continue that sort of momentum here in this fourth quarter.
Bucknell with the good clear, and the Bison get a rare look on offense here in this fourth quarter, I should say. It was essentially all Bucknell for most of the third, and then ever since then it's pretty much been all Raiders. But as this game has had a series of ebbs and flows, maybe it's Bucknell's turn for a surge now. Joseph has it. He's scored 3 of their 7. He's still in single digits in goals scored on the season. He gets by his man there in the defense, and now it's back with David Dixon, who looked for a lane to shoot, couldn't find one. Dixon threw one that rattled off Todd Heritage and was picked up alertly by Brendan Burke. I doubt he'll get credit for a save, but he stopped the ball that would have gone in.
And that's exactly what Coach Toomey and Coach Mike Murphy want to see out of their defense. Parker Weinstock doing a great job there of collapsing down, getting a stick on Todd Heritage, not allowing him to catch that ball in the crease. Nice defense there by Colgate.
Bobby Lawrence, a little lackadaisical. Burke fires one ahead, and I think he saw Grinberg out of his cage. Grinberg, thinking like his opposing goalkeeper, might have baited him into that one. He made an easy stop on a ball that I'm not sure would have made it in anyways. So it's right back with the Bison in the person of Davidson being marked by John Baker.
Really grinds my gears when that Bucknell 10-man ride works. Never like to give him credit for that kind of thing, but sometimes it can cause a lot of disruption.
You got to give credit where credit is in fact due. Shanahan, meanwhile, shimmies his way past Weinstock, and Burke comes out to intercept the pass, which was intended for Sean Doyle. Burke now scampering behind his own cage. The pass is batted down. His stick was held. Burke can only shovel it towards the sideline and out of play. Possession back here with the Bison.
Burke made a heck of a play to intercept that pass. Nice anticipation jumping out of the cage. Unfortunately, unable to continue that great play and get the ball out of the defensive zone for the Raiders. But that's the kind of thing that Brandon Burke can do for you in goalie. Make athletic plays, instinctive plays just like that one.
Here is Peter Burke cutting out in front. 2 Raiders all over him. He is able to force his way away from them. There's a try, and that is held by Burke, stopping Sean Doyle and his hard shot there. Burke was pressured, but he outletted a pass to a wide-open Jimmy Ryan. Further ahead now, Derek Katchis. He's tied up. The ball is knocked free and out of play. Or no, it stayed in play right along that far sideline. And Bucknell back with it the other way. The Raiders having a hard time maintaining possession right now. Inside of 7 minutes to play in regulation time of a game that's all tied up at 7 goals each.
Not in a good moment either to start playing dropsy with the ball. Colgate,
And Joseph gets his 4th. And the case of the dropsies finally hurts the Raiders. Bucknell takes advantage in the person of Ryan Joseph, putting the Bison back on top with 6:48 left. He'll be opposed by Colin Farwell here. Interesting that it's not Spring or Jackson Place this time for Bucknell. The help from the wings comes. Keneally is tripped up, has possession. The ball's loose for the taking, and it is grabbed by Matt Clarkson. And so Keneally answers your call there, Reed, and wins the faceoff. And now Colgate has a chance to tie this one right back up. And the shot from Clarkson is stopped by Grinberg.
Huge ground ball by Matt Clarkson, and he thought he had an opportunity. And it wasn't a terrible shot, but would have liked to have seen Colgate hold on to that ball as the defense is coming off maybe a 2.5, 3 minute long possession.
And now they're asked to go right back to work here. 14 saves in the game now for Grinberg compared to 8 for Burke, or rather 7 for Brandon Burke.
Leo Storos, nice anticipation there, jumps in front of the pass. Those crease looks for Todd Heritage not coming as easily to him late in this game.
Ryan Walsh marching right down the center, but he's turned away at the last moment by Ben Keller. It's kind of ironic these teams turned the ball over so little in the first half, and it's been just the opposite here in the second. Each team giving the ball away a little bit too liberally for their coach's liking. Down the stretch we come now with 5.5 minutes remaining. Bucknell leading 8-7. Cam Williams with speed, trying to race away from Mike Chiappa. Eric Foote dancing through the defensive traffic and then decided to peel away from some of that. Ryan Walsh, just 1 goal scored today. Walsh twisting and turning away from 2 Bison defenders. He's got Williams open, finds him, he shoots, he scores! Tie game, Cam Williams.
Cam Williams chooses the most important point in the season to arrive with his first goal there on the receiving end of a great pass from Ryan Walsh.
Well, thankfully, we do have an ambulance not far away in case you do, though we certainly hope that's not the case. In any event, Keneally wins the draw cleanly, carries it ahead. He'll shoot. He scores! Alex Keneally right down the alleyway, and Colgate's up by the score of 9-8.
Are you kidding me? Alex Keneally, not known for his speed, but able to outstrip Jackson Place there, flips the ball up to himself, puts it right by Grinberg. Alex Keneally, flashing back to his high school days, he was the leading scorer in his league his senior year, but hasn't shown much of a proficiency for that since he's been at Colgate. His second goal of the season and career, and couldn't come at a bigger time, giving Colgate their first lead of the game.
You are absolutely right there, Reed. Colgate with its first lead since early stages of the second quarter. And it didn't last long then, but it's only got to last for 4 minutes and 44 seconds here. Keneally had it. It was chopped free by Jackson Place, then regathered, dropped back to no one in particular. Ball's free for the taking at the 40-yard line, and Jackson Place went back to get it. As they like to say, the fastest player is the one who commits the turnover. Well, Place scampered back and grabbed that one. It's a rare face-off win, but an important face-off win for the visiting Bucknell Bison, and it's now up to them to try to find an equalizing goal, trailing for the first time in this second half, 4 1/4 to play in the fourth.
Alex Keneally being tended to by Cody Herbert. Looks like he's got some sort of issue with his ankle or leg on the sideline. Hopefully that's not going to become a factor.
Joseph, who has 4 of his team's 8, turned away there. You know, Keneally on that run to the goal, one of the Bison players leaped and swung his stick at him, may have connected with the ankle there, which could be what he's trying to walk off right now. That's Peter Burke. Flag is down. The shot was stopped point blank by Brandon Burke. No relation.
What,
and we'll see what the infraction is here with 3:39 remaining.
Coach Murphy says, I disagree. I think ripped the lining right out of his head on that one. Very upset with that call. Normally, referees will give defensemen a little bit of slack on that cross-check. You can have your hands about 6 to 10 inches away on your stick, but choosing to be strict there, they get Leo Storos, I think, on the cross-check. Coach Murphy applauding Leo's effort, saying he's not upset with that defensive play.
And so for the Bison, it's their most important man-up chance of the season. 0 for 2 today. Both those chances coming in the second half. One of them earlier on in this quarter.
Get over there.
Sturos serving his time. The Bison needing a goal to knot the score at 9. And there it is.
Oh.
Heritage jams it in on the pass from Dixon, and we're tied up once more at 9-all.
Oh, just because you know it's coming doesn't mean it's easy to stop. Todd Heritage again there on the crease.
And so after the better part of nearly
and Alex
50
Keneally not going to be able to get back
action
there on the face-off. Danny Lacrosse out here for his first face-off of the game.
What a blow that could have been, but it's a pretty easy win there. Peter Marchetto, but then the stick is chopped out of his hand, but a whistle prior to that. And a timeout, I believe, called by the Raiders, or just possession to Colgate.
Timeout called by Bucknell. That was a huge mistake there by Coach Federica as his star defenseman Jackson Place had the ball bearing down on Brandon Burke. That might have been the easiest goal of his career.
So during this timeout, we hope you've caught your breath. I think we've caught ours, along with Reed Shepard, Kenny Copps here on the Patriot League Network. You're watching today's contest live on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. If no one scores over the next 3-12, we'll go to sudden death, sudden victory, overtime. The winner of this game goes down to Baltimore to play the number 1 team in the country, Loyola University of Maryland, at 5 p.m. on Friday. Back underway we go, out of the Bucknell timeout. Gelfi had it, got it to Joseph, and Joseph returns it back to Brock Gelfi. Gelfi with a burst of speed.
Nice defense there by Matt Clarkson, keeping his guy down the side.
Pass back, Heritage fires one, and he shot it out of the stadium practically way up high. Backed up by Dixon, 2:53 remaining.
Colgate defense going to take that all day. Brandon Burke's usually going to be good from right there.
Dixon turning, he's got a couple of assists, but no goals today. It's Joseph, senior captain Jimmy Ryan, blanketing him, giving him no room to work with. Gelfi again matched up against Clarkson, and Clarkson able to stay with the speedy Gelfi. They switch off, and now he's picked up by Ryan.
Coach Murphy elected to go with Jim Ryan and Matt Clarkson as these two defensive midfielders coming out of this timeout. Hard to fault his choice. Two of the most athletic guys on the team, and Burke able to get a save and get the ball back for the Raiders.
Clarkson fires it back to Brandon Burke. Colgate with 2 timeouts remaining, 2 minutes remaining in a tie game. It's carried ahead by Eric Foote.
Touch it in, call a timeout, give me a break. I cannot take the stress.
You asked me earlier, or you said earlier you don't know how anyone could be a goalie in this game. I'm not sure how anyone can be a coach in this game. It's just been so tight, so back and forth.
Coach Murphy not heeding my request, electing to let the boys play here.
90 seconds remaining. Cam Williams will take it down into the corner. The clock will halt with 1:24 remaining as the Raiders spend their first time out of the second half. Off we go, back underway. Clarkson. And now Williams. Twisting away from the defense. He finds Brendan McCann. A defender slips and falls. The Raiders cannot take advantage of that. Ryan Walsh gets a touch as we go into the final minute of the fourth quarter. Stalling warning to Colgate here.
Did they just call a stall? It's been like 15 seconds. Not sure I agree with that. It's a tie game. It's not like the Raiders aren't looking to go to the goal here.
Now it's with Foote. 45 seconds on the clock. The defender slips. Foote drops it back around behind. Adams to Williams. Over here to Clarkson. Clarkson dancing. The officials start counting. Clarkson's got to shoot soon. Can't find a lane to shoot. Walsh has no room. He slips and falls. And Ryan Walsh will fire it, and it's stopped. But possession's going to be given back to Bucknell as the whistle had blown before the shot was taken. And with 2 seconds remaining, the Bison look to clear their own end in a tie game of the Patriot League Tournament quarterfinals.
That was the quickest stall call I've ever seen. And as a fan, I'm going to write the referee committee or whoever I need to complain about that one.
Peter Burke with time running down to 5 seconds. All tied up by Ryan. Burke shoots. He misses high. It goes out of play. 1.6 ticks remaining. That's all that separates us from overtime. Thrown right into Burke's goal cross off the restart, and we are going to overtime. Hey, why not? The Raiders hoping for a different script here as we get back underway out of the Colgate timeout. Colgate now out of timeouts, not quite 20 seconds into overtime. Cam Williams to McCann. He fires it over to Ryan Walsh. Walsh is double teamed, but he's able to squirm out of that pressure. Made it look easy. Walsh had some time and space, threw one on back. That pass was knifed down, and Williams juggles it, finds the handle, and gets a timely pick as well from Eric Foote to get some time and space and regather himself. Clarkson, there's McCann, couldn't handle the pass. It's turned over, perhaps, if Bucknell can find the handle, which it does. Falling down, but getting the pass away was Ben Keller to his goalkeeper, Sam Grinberg. Well, the Raiders had good possession, but could not get a shot away on that possession, which lasted the better part of a minute. And now it's Bucknell there with a clear good, thanks to the work of Mike Andrusik.
McCann on the crease there with a Bucknell defenseman not even close to him.
Heritage just shot that one off the shaft of the stick. Rebound, it flopped out of the stick, and it's grabbed out of midair by Bobby Lawrence. Heritage had a look. Now it's Jimmy Ryan carrying it back in a 5-against-5.
Do it,
Ryan Walsh. Gave him a stick. He missed.
What? I thought he had it.
Is it possible he could have shot that through the net? Timeout Bucknell. He must have just missed that one there.
Wow. And this time
Ryan Walsh
picks up the ball. Coach Murphy is giving that ball to Cam Williams the past couple of possessions coming out of timeouts.
And it hadn't worked, at least hadn't produced a goal, so a little bit of a different look. It's Williams with speed to Walsh, near side McCann, around a Foote.
I like this matchup for Foote. Eric Foote drawing the short stick, draws a quick slide.
As you can see, Bucknell kind of scampering a little bit to get back in defensive position, but the Bison have reset themselves there. Williams, a shot, he missed!
Cameron showing up big in this game already with a huge goal, trying to be the hero there. Skips just wide.
And so it can be played by McCann back to Clarkson. The clock is ticked down below 2 minutes to go in this first overtime period. Eric Foote will speed ahead with it now. Now it's Walsh looking to come out in front. McCann was open maybe for a second. Couldn't get it to him. Eric Foote trying to skip his way inside. He sees a couple Bison come to him.
He's got Jackson Place, number 17 on him. That means he's not on Ryan Walsh. Look for Ryan to call for the ball here, try and take advantage of a possible matchup.
Cam Williams with it now. He's being marked by Sam McDonough. Down to 1:15 remaining. There is Walsh. Walsh coming back out in front. He turns and fires, and that one is grabbed by Sam Grinberg. The 15th save of the game for the diminutive Bucknell goalkeeper.
Maybe not the best shot Colgate could have gotten, but certainly Ryan Walsh, a player of his star caliber, can be up to the task to make that one. Probably tried to get that one going low, but Grinberg sees it all the way. Nice save.
That's his patented move with his back to the goal, turn around and jump and shoot. Couldn't bury it that time. And it's with the Bison now with 38 seconds and counting remaining in this first overtime session.
No more timeouts now, so they're just going to have to play this one out.
Peter Burke receives some instructions from the Bucknell sideline. Down to the final 23 seconds here. Jimmy Ryan doesn't let him get an angle, turning back in and back the other way. Jimmy Ryan just all up in his grill. Nowhere for Burke to go yet. He's guided further away from the Raiders' cage. Down to the final 10 seconds here of the first overtime. Ryan Joseph dodges one man, shoots one weakly wide. It's kicked around, picked up by Dixon. 3 seconds and 2. Fakes the shot, pass one across. No. The shot misses at the horn, and we're going to double overtime. Keneally's got this one as well, and then threw a wild pass over to Baker. Baker able to dip this one back to Eric Foote. He's knocked down. He gets back up. A flag has been thrown.
Nice
So
play
delayed
by
call.
Eric Foot to get out of a sticky situation and draw the penalty. I don't know if I agree, but I will certainly take the man up this late in the game here. Colgate going to have a free possession, able to take their time and set up their offense, knowing that they're going to get the ball back no matter what happens.
Cam Williams with it 40 seconds into the second overtime period.
See Derek Catches, number 18, on the sideline walking around in circles. I don't think he could take the stress either.
Ryan Walsh veering away from some of the Bison's defensive traffic. It's with Brendan McCann. McCann turns on the Jets, wants to come out in front. Dropped it on back. Making a move there was Donato. Couldn't pull the trigger. It's back with Williams. Back to Donato.
Donato, a freshman, out there on the field in a huge spot here.
Williams gets the ball from McCann. That flag's been down for about a minute now, it seems like. The Raiders not eager to shoot yet. They're looking for that perfect opportunity, and why not? It's Eric Foot, who's being closely watched by Zach Hankhouse. Foot dodging and diving and ducking away from him, but can't break free. Walsh wants the ball. He calls for it. He gets it. Going 1-against-1. Walsh out in front, shoots, and that one stayed out. Man in the crease was Walsh.
Kidding me.
We'll get the enforcement of the penalty here with 2:17 left in double overtime.
Walsh showing just why he is one of the most prolific offensive players of all time here at Colgate. When he wants to go somewhere, it's hard to stop him. Oh, please, Kenny, you got to think. 0 for 8 in our last man-up chances.
Just their second man-up chance of the game, and you think if a team was ever due, this would be the time to break through. Eric Foot has some room.
Looks like they're throwing a little wrinkle in with some pick play and some movement up top.
They're certainly keeping the Bucknell defense actively moving around.
Do it, Ryan.
Walsh dodges past the man. Pass one back across. There's the shot. Stopped by the goalkeeper. Rebound shot. Scores! Clarkson buries the rebound, and the Raiders are going to Baltimore.
Yes, yes, yes. Matt Clarkson gets the shot off the post, doesn't give up on the play, picks up the ground ball, and then buries it in the back of the net for a victory. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Matt Clarkson. I will be giving you a hug after this game. Wow, huge play by the junior there. First team all Patriot League midfielder Matt Clarkson, showing exactly why he is so valuable to this team. And Colgate moving on to Loyola, and it's playoff time, Kenny. Anything can happen here.
You're absolutely right, and that's the second goal today that Matt Clarkson scored off a rebound, staying with it. This time it was his own rebound. An excellent save by Grinberg. You certainly can't pin that goal or this loss on him by any means. He was, for the most part, fantastic, but, they answered the call there. You said the 0 for their previous 8 on their man-up chances, but the Raiders cashing in double overtime. A game that took more than 66.5 minutes of game time to complete, with no team ever leading by more than 2. I'm sure that'll be a popular shot here of the winner here today. One last time, your final score from Crown Field at Andy Kerr Stadium in double overtime: the Colgate Raiders 10 and the Bucknell Bison 9. So for Reed Shepard, I'm Kenny Cupps. Thank you for watching today's game. This has been coverage of the Patriot League Men's Lacrosse Tournament, brought to you by Campus Insiders.